Hey yo, fellow trans fans, Autobots, and Decepticons. This is Dave Frost reporting in again with another figure review. And as you can tell, this is for Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Protectobot Hotspot. So, we get some brilliant artwork on the bottom left corner and the entire box frame that the figure comes in, with, as usual, some blueprints for the aerial bots, the entire first wave of Transformers Generations Combiner Wars. Here is the top of the box with the Autobot logo Comet. And here is the right side with the Combiner Wars brand or logo. Here is Defensor in action. And Hotspot is 3 of 5, which really they should be saying 3 of 6, even though Groove doesn't really count as a part of the, well, yeah, a part of the wave, but he's not a deluxe. He's, as we all know already, a legend class figure, but he does have the same light bluish turquoise color on his box of sorts, initiating that he is a part of Defensor. We'll get to the back in a moment. Here is the Autobot Comet again. Here's the underside of the box with the barcode and useless information that we really don't care about nor read, unless you're a fan of reading such info, even the info here. But yes, here is Hotspot. Here he is in robot mode, vehicle mode, 17 steps to transform him between robot mode and vehicle mode, and he does form the torso of Defensor. And here he is with the deluxe class figures that are the limbs of Defensor. And here's one small bio right here. The duty of the Protectobots does not stop when the battle is over. Hotspot and his team of heroes will come to mankind's defense whenever danger threatens. And that is really the only bio we get for Hotspot, because he, of course, does not come with a comic. He comes with a collector card, which we'll see right now. So, here is the collector card, and it is curved because that is how Hasbro puts the card in the box, is that it be a little curved in the middle instead of completely flat. Sorry for that little cutout. The camera of my tablet is malfunctioned for a moment. Anyway, so this is not the Transformers Combiner Wars character of Defensor. Here, let me rearrange the light so we can get a better look at it. Like I was just saying, this is not the Combiner Wars character. This is the Hotspot character that is a repaint and a bit of a remold of the Generations, the Classics 2.0, if you will. I think that is the proper name for it. Generations version of Hotspot being a repaint and a bit of a remold of Inferno. And he has a fellow Autobot over his shoulder as he saves that fellow Autobot. And then, of course, nothing on the back. So, for the first time ever, I am taking the card out of the plastic. So it's a pretty glossy and awesome ID card. But what would be making it more interesting is that they put the name and bio specs of the character. Like his strength, intelligence, speed, courage, whatever else goes on the bio card of the character. Now for the instructions. So yes, 17 steps from robot to vehicle mode, because he is packaged in robot mode. And then 17 steps to transform him back from vehicle mode to robot mode. And then on the back, there are 18 steps to transform him from robot mode to torso combination mode. Now we can finally look at the product. So here is Hotspot in robot mode. I do enjoy the detailing where it's a red grill over what lies beneath, which are silver details of gears, pipes, and other detailing that would be of a robot. So I enjoy that little detail that they have going on throughout the body. So it's on the side of the legs, on the chest plate, corners partially, because these are not really corners. But then they're also on the shoulders. And then he does get 2 rifles that are the same, only the piping is on one side specifically for right and left, and these are the opposite sides, and they can only connect one way to make a larger rifle, which I think, as a minor gripe, is a bit goofy. That, sure, it makes a bigger cannon, but it's just 2 of the same gun, one way or another, so it doesn't really make that much of a larger weapon. And I am sorry for this cutout, that little glitch. Again, that's just the camera of my tablet. Anyways, it would be more awesome if the back gun were built way differently. And it combined with the front gun in a much different way. Where this just doesn't sit here, it actually connects to the front gun and make a much more different weapon. But this is really just how Hasbro decided to do it. So putting the weapons aside, let's now compare. So here is fellow Protectabot Groove from the Legend Class of the same toy line. And all he does is just, he's smaller than the entire leg, but is taller than the lower half of the entire leg. So that is Groove. Now we have Streetwise, who is of the deluxe class scale from the same line. Sorry for that little interruption. Anyways, one of 4 deluxe class figures of the same line, and also another fellow Protectabot. So, as you can tell, Streetwise goes up to Hotspot's elbow a little higher. Next, we have First Aid. Then we have Rook. And then we have Blades. From the same toy line, but is not a Protectabot, but is a fellow Voyager class character, we have Silverbolt. And really, this is just I'm sure this is just of the angle of the camera, so let's put them side to side. So Silverbolt, being of the same Voyager class scale, he is still taller than Hotspot. There we go, now we get a better image of the scale. Now, from Deluxe class, and also from Generations, but not Combiner Wars, we have Red Alert, but really I would rather call him Rescue Flame, because he is of fire rescue, you know, in comparison to a fire truck. Like, this would be the fire chief's car. That's what Rescue Flame would, that's the nature of Rescue Flame. So yeah, deluxe scale, coming up to the shoulder, or above the elbow. Then we have Inferno from Transformers Energon, a fellow fire engine, who is also deluxe class. Then we have leader class, I'm sure. Even though the scale may be a little similar, Robots in the Sky 2001 Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime. So I'm pretty sure that Optimus Prime is of the leader class scale, since he obviously is taller than Voyager class Hotspot. And yeah, Voyager class Hotspot. And of course, Optimus is still of the same nature, being a fellow fire engine. And I would bring in Transformers Cybertron Optimus Prime, but I still have yet to get that character. Now, I thought it would be rather appropriate to bring in our 2001 Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime in his super mode. So obviously he towers over Hotspot, as you see here. So now we go into now we're going to go into vehicle mode. So we bring him closer. So what we want to do is first take the chest plate, bring it all the way down. Bring the head down. Then we take the side panels, the bigger side panels of the whole ladder function, fold the ladder down all the way back, and then bring it all the way back up on a separate hinge. And then fold the bigger side panels of the back of the ladder back to where they were before, and then twist the whole ladder around. And we'll finish that part later. Then we bring up the arms, but do not put them in just yet. Rotate the shoulders back and bring them up. Now this is why. Now we bring in back the ladder and really just fold the arms out of the way, because we're going to, because of the fact that we have these pegs sticking out at the top of the shoulders, and they're going to peg in to that part of the ladder right there. And then also there are these pegs on the bottom of the shoulders that slot into each other. And I apologize if the light is being a bit too bright right now. So you'll want to peg in the top pegs first. along with the bottom pegs right in there. Then peg in the arms together and fold them up, and then there are these pegs here and here on the arms that go into that slot there and that slot there. Then raise up the ladder so we can work on the legs. So what you want to do is unfold and turn over the legs and bringing them all the way to this point here. And at the top of the legs, we have what are a couple of what are one peg and then a slot. That's where that peg right there comes in, and we have it on both of the legs on the more inner sides of it. Sorry that the ladder hit the camera. We'll just lift it all the way back for now. And at the same time, you're also pegging together the rest of the back section of the front of the vehicle mode, and also the cockpit. And then these things here are going to slot under those pegs. And that goes for both sides. Yeah, there we go. Now we have it correct. Then we bring the ladder back. And now we have vehicle mode. And now we get to another gripe, which all gripes that I have anymore about these toy products, I recognize them as minor gripes, so they're really not that big of a deal to deal with. They're just barely noticeable, but you still notice them one way or another. So one gripe is back here where the big flaps, sure, they stay up properly, but they don't peg into anything. And then the ladder kinda slants up instead of being perfectly flat due to the siren lights of the vehicle form. And then I'm not sure what the heck this is for. They really could have covered that up a lot better and make it more. It's one thing that it's hollow. That's not that big of a deal. But another thing is that they could have covered that up better. You know, make it more whole in the cover up so that the head is not so visible. And yet another gripe is that the hands are not covered up perfectly. You can see them from the sides and the back. But, like I said, the gripes are never that big of a deal. So, comparison to the old hotspot from Generation 1, which I do not have. It's a pretty nice vehicle mode. It's the same in color of light blue. And another comparison is the Fire Rescue emblem with the Flaming Comet Autobot logo, similar to the one that we got in the Generation 1 version of the toy, and also on the box artwork of this figure. And I've seen images of the future to come, spring of next year. The Onslaught figure of the Combiner Wars, and how he really does compare similar to this. And sorry, my camera glitched out again. Yeah, I don't know why the camera keeps glitching, because I'm currently rotating and the camera is not picking up. Sorry about that. Just trying to fix the camera. I really don't understand why the camera is doing this. I'm gonna keep rotating until the camera wakes up. Finally, the camera is working again. I really and sincerely apologize for the malfunction of the camera. I don't know why the heck it does that. But coming from to the top of the front of the ladder, we get some nice detail where it's the bucket that a fireman would stand in, and we also get the water hose, and a little water tank that the water comes from, I think. So now we're gonna do comparisons. Okay, so now for the comparisons. We have Groove. Excuse me. We have Groove, where Hotspot just wins all over. All three categories of height, length, and width. Then we have Streetwise, where again Hotspot just wins all over, but actually I think Streetwise is wider, but obviously Hotspot is taller and longer. Same case with First Aid, where Hotspot is taller and longer, but First Aid is wider. Same case with hotspot and blades. Same case with hotspot and rook. And don't worry, my fellow trans fans, Autobots and Decepticons. I will bring in all 5. I mean 6. Here he is next to Rescue Flame, where Hotspot and Rescue Flame are the same in all 3 categories as the fellow Protectobots versus Hotspot. Same case with Hotspot and Inferno. Now we have the fellow Voyager class scale, where Silverbolt is wider, Hotspot is higher, but it can be hard to... Yeah, I guess Silverbolt is longer. But who knows? It really is hard to tell between a jet and a fire engine. Now, we bring in the big kahuna, who is, of course, 2001 Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime, who just takes the cake on everything, because obviously he pretty much is a leader class. Versus Hotspot being a Voyager class. So now, I will do one more thing before combination mode. Which is this. I'm going to teach you the viewing audience how to transform Hotspot. So we take the turntable out of the way. And so, what you want to do is fold the ladder all the way back. And then take the arms and bring them forward. Well, by the shoulders, that is. And then lower the arms down. Next, you peg down the base of the ladder, rotate it 120 degrees down, and then instead of folding this back up, you fold up the ladder. Take the big side panels, and then on the inner sides of the bigger panels, you have 2 pegs that go in to those circular slots right there and right there. And unlike vehicle mode where the panels have friction but don't have anything to peg into for vehicle mode. Unlike that, that is the case you have here, where the bigger panels actually have something to peg into and stay in place. Now, move the arms out of the way, because this is where we do the legs. And yes, the wheels are that easy to pop off because they just peg in. So be careful to split the legs but not pop off the wheels. So separate the legs, fold up the cab section, and we might as well get the head and chest panel out of the way. So we fold those up. And as you can tell, when going to vehicle mode, you have slot pegs and slots. Well, pegs on the legs and slots on the outer parts. And really you just unpeg those. Then you lower the legs all the way down. But then this is interesting for Hotspot himself, because he's the only one that has to do this. Possibly the future coming Combined Wars Onslaught, who may have to go through this as well. Where, move that leg out of the way, where you take, this is for both legs. Where you can visibly see this entire thing. It has 3 different hinges. One at the base, one here, and one there. So you take your finger and push that in. Hold that in place, and then fold at the upper 2 hinges, and then you'll want to push all of that forward. There is supposed to be a click, so let's try that on the other leg. But first, rotate the entire right leg around to where the wheels are on the inside. Let's just rotate the other leg around first, and then come back here. And let's try this again. So you hold this hinge in place, or that bar right there, and you're gonna fold. So what you're gonna do is really have it going like that, and then that, and then that again. That is how this entire system is supposed to be set up. And for some reason it's not clicking in as it's supposed to, but at least that signifies that the legs are correct. That means that the entire hinge system in the lower half of the leg is locked in, so that you can freely do the knee bending. Fold the arms and the ladder back down, and there you go. You have Hotspot in robot mode. But then there are a couple of gripes that are never that big of a deal. The ladder at times may seem a little unstraight, where it just goes kind of like that. It angles a little bit. but at least it holds up the back. Excuse me. At least it holds up itself entirely back here. And then the other gripe is that at the legs, you can see it here already. Where the legs may be